Hi guys, Bobby here. I guess you all know that Horizon is all about car guys, right? Especially all of us in Evo Club, and we all own multiple cars. I believe every car has a story. Without people salvaging old cars like these, or without people buying performance cars like those, they wouldn't be running around the streets, right? And from there onwards, I have all the cars that accompanied me throughout the past 10 years and created all the stories. My latest acquisition, this one, which is a Fiat. And of course, Fiat, for the longest of time, owns Ferrari. And we all know the fuel for Ferrari that delivers unbeatable performance is actually Shell V-Power Racing. And to me, I couldn't afford a Ferrari yet, but this is the closest connection I have with what kickstarted my journey in forthcoming as becoming a car guy. So guys, this series I will explore the story of each car that Horizon team members own, and from there we'll try to tell you what goes behind. And hope you enjoy the series, and thank you so much to Shell V-Power for bringing this to all of you. Alright, hope you enjoy this episode. Alright guys, so I'm so happy today. I'm here with my buddy, my brother, my taiko.
Good morning.
Chris Wee, to go through this episode of Me and My Car. It's so lovely that you picked your Volvo wagon for this.
Yeah. Today, you asked me for the car that has inspired me the most, the car that I identify with the most, and I guess this would be it. I mean, I've got 9 other cars, but I was thinking which is the car, and it took a while. It took about an hour for me to actually think of which car I wanted to have in this series of yours. And I guess this would personify it because, as I've mentioned in the past, and also to my viewers on my channel, the one car that I regret selling now, I've had a lot of cars in my life, in and out, but the one car that I still harbor regrets for selling is my S123, which is basically a Mercedes-Benz W123 wagon called the S123. And it was one of those crazy situations where the guys told me, the buyer said, name your price, and I was like, no, I don't want to sell this car, you know. And he said, no, seriously, just name your price. So I blurted out a stupid price for that time, a stupid price, and he just put his hand out and was like, deal.
Like a stupid high price.
A stupidly high price, a really stupidly high price, which even today, and this was about what, easily more than 10 years ago, even today that would still be considered a high price, because that S123 wagon was beautifully done. Beautifully done. Even the Rimbassy, as they call it, the steel wheels were still there with the full steel covers with the color-coded centerpiece. Yeah. So in the rule of classic cars, if somebody actually accepts your price straight off the bat with no negotiation, you are duty bound to sell. Yeah. So, and this guy is a repeat customer. Repeat customer. He had actually bought my 635 CSI. Oh. Also for the price that I wanted. Yeah. And so I knew he was good for it. And so he stuck out his hand and said, yeah, deal. So in the space of 1 week, I lost a 635 CSI and my S123. Oh. I don't miss the 635 that much because I've had 2 of them. Yeah. But I only had one wagon, which was my S123. And so I wanted to get another wagon. But unfortunately, S123s have become what they call unobtainium almost, because thank you very much, Mercedes-Benz in Germany classified it as a young-timer classic. And once they've classified something as a young-timer classic, the market value shoots up double, triple sometimes. So yeah, the S123 is a young-timer classic. And so now, despite the great price that I got it for, you can't get it at that price already. It's gone higher.
I remember Mercedes held a sort of like a concourse event, and your car was featured there.
It was called the Mercedes-Benz 125 Years of Innovation, and it was held at Mainz some years ago, and the S123 was there. It was one of only 3 S123s that were being displayed amongst a huge array of even an SLR. Do you know there's an old SLR gull wing in Malaysia that hadn't seen the light of day in the longest time. The guy actually towed it over. It's such an exquisite car. It's more a conversation piece than an actual car that you drive around, because a fender bender in an SLR will cost you, it's priceless. Can you imagine somebody comes too close, want to see the car, and then you have to brake and he hits you at the back? So, I mean, just imagine trying to get parts for that car. And even for this brick wagon, these were so difficult to get because they are unique to the wagon. Yeah, these are unique to the wagon. So in Malaysia, the 240 sedan, everywhere. You can still get parts for them. So up to the B pillar for this car, in front of the B pillar is all 240 sedan. Very easy to get. Anything from the back of the B pillar, unique to the wagon. So these were extremely difficult to get. Thank you so much, LK. He got them for me. He found them for me. I don't know how, but LK found these for me. So it's good to have friends who are in the know, who are in the classic car scene as well. So he got these for me. And it's been a labor of love. This car is a rolling restoration. It's by no means completely done yet. As you can see, I've not even done the back part yet. I just got this matte done, but I've not done the back part yet. But it's already gone to Thailand and back. So my philosophy is mechanical, electrical, peripheral, in that order. As long as the car is mechanically sound, electrically sound, peripheral can come later. The paint and all that. The
aesthetics.
The aesthetics can come later. This paint was actually a funny story. I had to choose the color from a color squash that's about that big. So you try and envision a whole car from a color squash that big. And I chose this orange because I wanted something different. And it came out really well.
And it's period correct.
For that time.
That era,
for that
they
time.
had this type of paint,
Yes,
right?
correct. In the 70s, there was a color called burnt orange. Look it up, guys. It's a very interesting color. I'm tempted to paint one of my cars this color, actually. It's called burnt orange. And this is close to burnt orange, but it's slightly more orange than burnt orange. So yeah.
So tell everybody a little bit about the specs.
Okay, this is an original 1985 2.3 litre naturally aspirated, no turbo, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder mated to a 5-speed manual transmission. There were autos for the 240, but I'm partial to manual gearboxes, and the reason why is because I like to drive long distance, and on the highway a 5th gear makes a huge amount of difference compared to the old 3-speed autos. In fact, a lot of older cars are using 3-speed autos, and they're just too not so nice on the highway. You can hear the engine is suffering, whereas this, the 5th gear, is an overdrive gear, so hit it into 5th and the revs just drop and you just cruise.
And it's just comfortable.
It's just comfortable. It's not as manic in terms of acceleration like the 850 T5, which is still also one of my favorite cars. The 850 T5 is the one that Volvo went racing with in the BTCC. If you remember that, Google that, because the cars were beautiful. So ever since then, I have had an affinity for wagons, especially Volvo wagons. Unfortunately, the demand here for wagons, not so great, except in the used car market. Because typically a sedan and its wagon counterpart, the wagon will have a better resale value than the
three times more.
Yeah, any vehicle, the wagon will always have a higher resale value, and I think it's because of the rarity. People like, but when it comes to buying new, they'll go for a sedan. Of course, when I picked up this car, it wasn't in the best condition. You can go to my channel, check the playlist for this car, go to the first video. You will not believe it's the same car. It looked like it'd been fished out of a lake the first time I got it. This was not that far behind in terms of its looks, so a lot has gone into this car. I would say more than the purchase price already, but it's been worth it because everywhere I go, I can take part in classic car events with this, not an issue. It's definitely already a classic. I've gone long distance. I've gone to Cherating with this car. I've gone to Thailand with this car, and it's just wonderful.
And I noticed the space.
And there's even more space if you fold the back seat.
Yeah.
I can actually sleep. I'm 6'2". I can actually sleep back here. If I put an air mattress, I don't have to get a hotel.
Even without putting down the rear seat back,
there's still a lot of space.
It's still way more deeper than modern wagons, right?
Yeah. And something you rightly pointed out long time ago, the pallet compliantness.
The Euro pallet.
Euro pallet, yeah. A Euro pallet is supposed to be able to be lifted and put straight in,
shoved in,
without you having to do anything. Just make sure there's nothing there. And the Euro pallet. In fact, I think I'll go and find a Euro pallet and keep it back here, just for shits and giggles.
But Euro pallets are smaller than the standard pallets that we use.
Slightly smaller than the standard big wooden pallets that we have. Euro pallets are slightly smaller. But yeah, cool it will fit. It will fit.
So it's rear-wheel drive?
It's rear-wheel drive. Yep. So the turning circle is ridiculously good. On a two-lane road, oncoming and going traffic, I can make a single turn without having to make a 3-point turn. No need 3-point turn. The car will just turn. It's like almost turning on a dime, because rear-wheel drive allows the front wheels to turn at a ridiculous angle. So it's all original, even the rims and the
the rims are
original.
beautiful.
Yeah, I got them refurbished.
And
they can
you
be
put
done.
Viking tires. He put
Viking
tires on his Volvo. You know, Viking is a brand originally from Norway. It is now under the Continental Group.
Under the Continental. It's the Continental's budget tires, because as everybody knows, Continental tires are not cheap. Yeah. So they've got a budget arm, and it's called Viking. They're very, very good tires. Very underrated tires, but very, very good tires in the wet, in the dry, and for carrying this weight. Because I do load up this car quite often. In fact, this car came in very handy when my dad passed away, and I had to clear out his condo. This car was carrying all kinds of stuff, unbelievable, packed. And the best thing is, even with the huge load, there was no difference in handling. It felt exactly the same.
Lovely.
So yeah, and even when it's empty, feels exactly the same. I don't know how they did it. Volvo really over-engineered this car. It comes with some weird triangular braking system that if one side fails, it will direct power to the other side.
Really?
Yeah, in the 80s, they came up with this. So this is long before ABS, EBD, traction control, electronic brake force distribution, all of that, which have all been replaced by electronic safety systems.
Right.
Volvo
Showing
did
how
some
strong it is.
Some crazy ads. That one, they packed 5 cars on top of one, 5 Volvos on top of one wagon, and it didn't crash. There was another many ads. They drove a 740 off a 3-story building, and it landed directly on its nose, and then flattened out, and it can still. You can find all these ads on YouTube actually, and it still managed to roll. All 4 wheels rolling, and the doors could be opened.
I like the one where they put a 850 turbo, 850R wagon, and then they put a Lamborghini next to it.
Yes, I remember
and then they
that.
say, to the radar gun, they look the same.
They look the same. To a radar gun, they look exactly the same. Yeah, I remember that.
Epic.
Some very ballsy ads actually back then.
So this is a keeper, I guess.
This is a keeper, because like I said, the one car that I really missed from my whole collection of buying and selling and all that was the S123, and that was a wagon. So I think that was the powers that be, or a higher power telling me I need a wagon in my life. And sure enough, I've been using the space. Like I told you just now, I just picked up 4 rims. No way those 4 rims would have fit into a boot of any of my cars. It fit in here without a sweat, no problem. So so people who need to move stuff every now and then, you really should consider a wagon, really.
So you've been restoring so many cars over the years, right?
Quite a few.
So when it comes to the health of the engine, right? As we all know, especially when the mechanics open up, it's like when you see a lot of carbon in there, that's when the engine is not healthy.
Yes,
right?
Correct.
So when it comes to an engine health of taking care of all these cars, we all have to make sure that the combustion chamber is always clean and all that, right?
Yes, it helps a lot.
Yeah,
it helps a lot.
So with a fuel that actually cleanses the combustion chamber, it's actually very important.
Very, very important.
Very important.
In fact, Shell actually makes engine oil. I mean, that's how good. They actually make an engine oil for cars that have over 100,000 kilometers on their odometer, which is great. I mean, it's like because okay, let's face it, folks. So many cars out there are new cars. It's so easy to buy a new car these days. You can get a loan, and some are offering no money down, sort of thing. Whereas an old car, it's a cash purchase. Unless you go and get a personal loan, which people don't, it's a cash buy. So you want the one thing I tell a lot of people is don't spend all your budget on the car. Because you're going to need some in future. To invariably there'll be some fixes. I don't care how adamant the seller says it's absolutely buy and drive, no repair needed whatsoever, bullshit. You're going to have to do something. Confirm you're going to have to do something. So don't spend your whole budget. You know, keep something in reserve just in case. And stuff like that, well, like what you just mentioned, helps. It really does help clean up your combustion chamber, clean up your injectors, things like that, your intake and outlet valves. So anything that you can do to help that works. And Shell has cleaning properties as well. Whatever you can do to help your engine, don't forget, is the heart of your car. And if it's not beating properly, same like you and me, problem. So that's why I always say mechanical, electrical, peripheral. Always make sure your engine is in tip-top condition. Because I really believe in Murphy's Law, whereby he says If anything's going to go wrong, it will, and at the worst possible time. At the worst possible time. So the shakedown drive for this car was to Cherating, and it was fine because I'm still in Malaysia. If anything, I can still call a tow truck in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And then it was to Thailand, because once you're in Thailand, you're on your own.
Yeah, man.
You're really on your own. Yeah. And you can call a tow truck, but he can only take it to the border, and then you got to call another tow truck to come up to the Malaysia-Thai border and take your car back. So towing itself is going to be a lot. So the last thing you want is a breakdown when you're in another country. Actually, you don't want to break down anytime lah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just put it that way. You don't want to break down at any time. But worse if you're in another country. So whatever you can do to make sure that that doesn't happen is beneficial.
Yeah, and I also think that a lot of people got confused. They thought if I pump in a higher RON, it means it's a cleaner fuel or whatnot. RON is just...
not really. No.
At which point it resists combustion, right?
Yes, correct.
So
and pinging and stuff.
When you're paying for a fuel that carries all the cleaning additives inside, it's actually more beneficial than a fuel with a much higher RON than what your engine needs.
Correct.
And a lot of people don't realize that if you let carbon build up in your engine, the higher it build up, it changes the compression of your engine, your combustion chamber,
of course.
And by then you will need higher RON.
Yeah, to get rid of that.
just to burn properly, because it changes the
correct.
displacement and your compression ratio.
So if you use a proper fuel from the get-go, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
It definitely helps. And one of the things I always do is, before a long distance drive, is actually add a fuel additive. Since I'm going to be whacking the car on the highway anyway, might as well just to burn. And the last time I did twice, so it really did work, because on the drive back the car felt smoother.
Nice.
And with old cars you can really feel the difference. You can feel the slightest bit of difference when your engine is running better, smoother. So yeah, definitely.
So we're gonna keep this for a long time.
I'm gonna keep this for a very long time, unless again somebody comes and says name your price and then sticks his hand out. So I'm not gonna get into that situation again.
Name me a stupid price.
Name me a stupid price. And then I blurt out something and he says okay, and I'm like, oh man, that's how I lost my previous wagon. But this old gal, she's oh, and one thing, this might look like a plastic cover, right? Yeah. But there's a huge piece of bussy underneath here, which one person cannot carry. That's how heavy it is.
A proper bumper.
A proper bumper. And you can see this bumper has been through hell already.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to install a reverse camera. This is the only car I have with a reverse camera, because I cannot tell how far I am at the back. So, but this bumper has gone through hell already, and it's still one solid mother.
Nice.
Bumpers these days are just aesthetics. I mean, they're like part of the car already, right? But this is a proper bumper. Yeah.
Can I go for a...
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, you sure you can. And sometimes she gets a little bit an actual key to start the car, an actual key that doesn't do anything else but a key. Yeah. Sometimes she's a bit grumpy and doesn't want to start, but
respect your elders.
Yeah,
lovely.
I got those made. Respect your elders. Oh, and then she earned that badge of honor.
Oh yes.
In Thailand.
Ah, the Viking tires. The little Viking there.
Yeah,
so cute.
The Viking on my tire.
Yeah.
She starts up.
Nice.
Every time. You remember how to drive a manual, right?
I guess I do.
Go for it, bro.
The turning circle,
yes.
my god! It can turn even more!
Yep. The turning circle is ridiculously good. That's one of the best things about this car.
Oh, the clutch is so easy to drive.
And the clutch is easy, yeah.
Everything is soft and dampened.
Yep, correct. Oh, and for Malaysia, very important, the aircon is good. The aircon must be good.
I saw a choke button there. What is that?
Because it's carburetor.
Alright.
Yeah, when it's very cold, I've never needed to use it. But when it's very cold, you need to basically choke more fuel into the carburetor to start the car in the morning. Yeah. But never used it. Easy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, very easy.
The steering wheel
is huge because of and it's not telescopic or tilt adjustable. Yeah. So it's like the Swedish just said, you deal with it. You need to get comfortable. You deal with it.
But this was an era where even having 4 doors is a luxury. It's true.
This is considered a 5-door. That's why it's called a 245.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. The sedan is a 240, and this is a 245. 5-door. They call that a door at the back.
Yo, this is such a comfortable car.
It is. Okay. I mean, I drove it for almost 1,000 kilometers. KL, Penang, Betong, KL. Wow.
So
Awesome.
nice.
Got my tunes. Got my 80s tunes on my thumb drive. Yeah, that's the most modern thing about this car. The fact that my player can read the thumb drive. I mean, come on, this car comes from an era when what internet was like, what's an internet?
No, there's no internet.
Cell phone, apa itu? What's a cell phone? You know? Laptop, nah.
Lovely. Idle's lovely.
Yep. Temperature stable, this is very important, yeah.
370,000 kilometers almost.
Yep. Sadly, Volvo does not issue the badges anymore. Yeah, the long mileage. And my theory is that too many Volvos were achieving that too easily.
For modern cars.
Yes, so too many old Volvos were achieving that too easily, so they decided to stop it because maybe they were losing money.
Well, I can imagine driving this long distance.
Yeah.
So lovely.
It was really, really lovely.
And if I'm driving this alone on a road trip, technically speaking, I don't even need a hotel.
You can sleep at the back if you wanted to.
I can have a little small inflatable mattress.
Very comfortable at the back.
Right.
But if you're really into camping, this thing can carry all kinds of stuff for your camping. Not an issue. Ooh, Mazda. Because of those huge Viking tires, you know, with the big aspect ratio,
the
side
ride
profile, the ride
nice.
comfort is really, really nice.
Yeah.
And like I said, with load or without load, it still feels the same. Really amazing.
Lovely.
And this is the first time I'm sitting in the passenger seat. And I gotta say, it's not bad at all.
I love, you know, when car makers make cars properly.
Yeah. These cars were built well from the get-go.
Yeah.
And built to last a lifetime. And when I say a lifetime, I mean a human lifetime. Not a current car lifetime, which has a shelf life because of this thing called planned obsolescence.
Yeah, man.
So the cars have a shelf life now. The fillet's on your side.
Okay. Alright. The green one. Lovely.
Well done, bro.
Nice. Nice. Let's fill her up.
No cup holder, so I did it. I DIY'd. Ta-da!
Oh!
You put yours there. We good to go?
Yes. Let's go. Show you guys the cup holders. Ta-da!
You know how long it took to do that? Because I had to adjust.
Be careful.
Because if not, I cannot close the glove box, right?
Yep.
So I had to adjust. And that's the owner's manual inside there, which is one of the plus points that came with this car.
Yep. Lovely. Oh.
That's the sound of 2.3 litre naturally aspirated.
Oh, you have slim thighs. No wonder you can get in easily.
Yes.
My thighs got stuck there.
Yeah.
And the interior bits are still so solid.
Still okay. Sadly, the good thing is this car came before the planned obsolescence thing.
Yeah.
But sadly, the 850s all have a problem with warping dashboards because they use recyclable materials to make the components.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. I mean, it's good that we recycle, but the car shouldn't start recycling itself while you're still using it. You know?
Yeah, that was the ruling that suddenly came about in Europe, right?
Correct, yes.
Where they require all car manufacturers, all the plastics,
a percentage of
to be biodegradable.
But the car shouldn't biodegrade while you're still using it.
And they actually have to scramble to look for suppliers who can supply this sort of material.
Yes.
And it was a new thing. Nobody knew how long they can last and all that. It was a new thing back then.
We found out the hard way. They last about 10 years.
Yeah.
That's it. After that, they start to recycle themselves.
And that's actually where the so-called reputation of European cars came about.
Correct.
Because the Japanese couldn't couldn't give two hoots about European laws.
Yeah, so they did their own thing.
So they have their mamak table hard plastics that has a lifetime, you know, it's infinitely, it won't degrade.
Correct.
But the biodegradable plastics that are good for environment were first used on European cars, and when they disintegrate, so does the reputation of a lot of European car makers, right?
The reputation disintegrates with the car.
But now you look at the European cars, they're all very reliable ever since, you know, from 2012, 13 onwards.
I think they realized that, but there was a gap there where we as consumers would suffer because of this. That's why a lot of consumers sell off their car after the warranty. And you know, get the next iteration.
Yes.
So it's come to a point where we don't really own our vehicles anymore. We lease. It's like a lease. You know, the bank owns it, and we're just borrowing it from the bank for a number of years.
And modern cars, they've been trying to make it lighter and lighter to be more and more fuel efficient and lightweight, and hence some components that used to be made of metal, it is now made of plastic.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, hard plastic, but still, it's plastic.
Yeah.
It does help in the weight savings, I guess.
Yeah.
And you know, the lighter the car, the less fuel you use to push it along. For cars, for me, the more durable, the better. Because I like, you know, I'm going to keep my car for a long time. And if it's built right from the get-go, for example, the W123 that I just bought. Built solid like a tank from the get-go. So now, restoring it or making it better or trying to make it like what it was when it was new is not going to be as time-consuming and as expensive as a vehicle that's new today, 20 years from now. This is
definitely.
This is what makes the difference. And we're back. Hardly felt that, did you?
Yep. So that's how a guru takes care of his lovely old cars.
If they're built right from the get-go, huge plus. Huge plus. And it closes.
That is genius. While we enjoy your coffee, this is the end of this episode of Me and My Car with the legendary Chris Wee and one of his many legendary cars. Alright, so please subscribe to Chris Wee's YouTube channel and follow him on Facebook, IG and everything. His channel is so interesting. So Chris scours for lovely cars that were otherwise being neglected, and he gave them a new lease of life. You know, restores them.
Hashtag give old cars a second chance.
Yeah, give old cars a second chance. And then he restores them, and he documents his journey on his YouTube channel, from finding to buying to restoring. And then ultimately someone who is a follower of his channel goes up to him and say, can you please sell it to me? I love it. I watch every bit of it. And then he will, you know, let that person have the opportunity to continue to take care of one of these cars while he look for the next one to save and take care of it. So this is Me and My Car, and thank you to Shell for supporting and sponsoring this episode. Cheers.